There it is. just live.
Yeah. We don't do the fancy countdowns. We don't care. We're here. Let's mock draft. That's pretty much
easy.
That's what I care about.
Yeah, essentially.
All right. So
cool.
Yeah, guys, today we are running.
You were gonna hit me with something?
I'm gonna do it now. I was gonna say we're running a Superflex mock draft. We're running a startup. I know the link is in the chat, right?
Yes. Yeah, link is in the chat. And so it's on Sleeper. Just join up real quick. It is a 10-round Superflex rookie mock draft. Every pick is only at max a minute. So this should go by pretty quickly. We're just gonna get a good gauge of how players should be valued. And we're filled. Wow, that was fast. Y'all are awesome. Everybody. Sweet. All right. So yeah, I'll get this started just real quick, just for everybody out there, just so y'all know. This is Superflex. It should say in the title of it if you're looking on it on Sleeper. Rookies are now in the system as well. So when you scroll through, you'll see all the 2023 rookies. And they, from what I've seen and gathered from the ADP, it looks relatively accurate. Like Bijan is just chilling down there. He's at 17 overall, right behind Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor at running backs. It is what it is. So maybe if you scroll a little bit, just make sure you got all your bases covered with the rookies if you wanted to take a rookie. But they generally are, I think, in relatively good spots that you're not going to really miss a guy in here. So just wanted to put that all out there for all y'all. This is Superflex. Rookies are actually involved. Draft whatever you want to do. And we're going to hit start, and I'm going to share my screen.
You got to shut off the notifications, the noise every time.
There, we'll go like that.
Much better. Much better.
All right. Patrick Mahomes, 101.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that the answer?
It's him or Allen, and I don't really have a preference either way. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. Josh Allen 102.
Yeah. You're not messing up the first probably like 4 or 5 picks. Like, you know what I mean? There's no projection. It's just good players. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to be up here soon at 1.05. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Gavin has been waiting for this moment since earlier this afternoon. So I'm curious to see what he goes with. Probably a quarterback, if I had to guess.
At your pick, are you looking at Jefferson or are you sticking quarterback?
No, at 1.05, I'm sticking with the quarterback. I generally always want to leave my first round with a QB, unless I'm in some sort of like weird dead area where, like, you know, the top 7 or 8 guys have already gone, and I'm debating between Kyler, Deshaun Watson, blah blah.
It's like where I am,
you know. Essentially, yeah, essentially right where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm taking Justin Herbert there. I feel like it's just after Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, I think there's a nice big tier that involves Hurts, Burrow, Herbert. I think Lawrence and Lamar Jackson are also in there too. If you want to add Justin Fields as a bookend on that too, I'm not necessarily against it. And then, I think right around in here, though, is a good spot for the Jeffersons, the Chases. I'm curious to see if you go double quarterback or if you're dipping into wide receiver or running back. I don't know.
I'll be honest. I hate this part of the draft board because any quarterback I take here, it feels like a reach to me. Like, there's enough. Kyler's got the ACL. Dak is Dak Prescott. Like, he is a cap ceiling. Deshaun Watson is shaking off rust, and maybe he doesn't fully bounce back. Right? There's all of these questions with those top quarterbacks left. So I'm going to go wide receiver. To me, it feels safe. I got 2 options. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb this round. On a different day, I may take AJ Brown. Like, it really does just depend how I'm feeling. Those guys are in a tier together, I think, just behind Jefferson and Chase.
Nice. Yeah, so I agree with you. So, did you make the pick?
Yes,
I don't want you to miss out.
Oh, I made it a while ago. You are heavily delayed.
Oh, no. I'm lagging.
There are 30 seconds left on the other clock. Your board is very delayed.
Your time's up.
Yes,
Sorry. Hate to tell you, you pick CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, well, you want me to tell you the future? The next pick off the board is AJ Brown.
No
Then
way.
it goes Brees Hall. You probably should refresh your screen. I'm just going to throw that out there for you while I talk through my pick. So here I'm looking. There we go. Again, quarterback. I don't like quarterback here. There's too much talent left. Whether it's Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill, even Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can go running back, and I'm going to give me CeeDee Lamb and Bijan. Like, I understand it's Superflex. I hate leaving the first 2 rounds without a quarterback. But at this point, it's really, really difficult to pass up on my Dynasty RB1 and my Dynasty wide receiver 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, from a value standpoint, I have trouble passing those 2.
My issue with that is I don't feel good about the quarterbacks that are going to be coming back to you at the 3-4 turn.
Oh,
You
I'm
know,
gonna
so
hate it.
like in a
I'm gonna hate
Superflex
it.
league, I feel really uncomfortable at quarterback. But like you said, you got CeeDee Lamb and Bijan Robinson.
That's a later me problem. Like, this is one where if I like, you know what I mean? Like, if in reality, if we were doing a true startup, I easily am trading out of both those picks. I am trading back.
Okay.
That's my typical move. Whenever I'm at the back of the first, let me add some assets. Let me add a future first or additional seconds, and just slide back to where I'm a little more comfortable taking that next tier of quarterback. That's typically how I'll position myself, rather than scooping the value on Lamb and Robinson. So that's something to consider when you land those last spots. And like you said, that first big batch of quarterbacks is already gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's definitely an element that, mock drafts don't necessarily give you, is you have the ability to make trades, move around the draft board, try to target some hot zones, get out of some cold zones. And we're starting to see a big old quarterback run here now. Tyler, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud, our second rookie, I guess the 1.02 in this mock draft here. How do you feel about Stroud going there?
So I don't mind Stroud. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Jesus. I don't mind CJ Stroud for his positional ADP. In the grand scheme of the entire draft, I don't like him that early, personally. I think it's 8, 9 picks too early. There's too much talent at wide receiver, I think, to be taking the risk on CJ Stroud there. At least that's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. However, I am going to take Bryce Young. So,
well, I'm taking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud anyway. So,
okay,
I'm fine with that.
What about the other wide receivers? You said that there's a lot of talent at wide receiver. There's Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra. You're talking about, I think, every rookie from 2022 is up there. Garrett Wilson, Olave, all those guys. You taking Bryce Young over all of them?
I'm taking Bryce Young over all but probably Jalen Waddle. Kenneth Walker went off the board. I would have taken Kenneth Walker over Bryce Young as well. And then this is where you're in a good spot because you have fluidity. Like, if this is a real rookie draft, I'm factoring in where's my team competing, right? Like, CMC over Bryce Young for a competing team, you take CMC, right? So that's where where startup value versus live league value can get different, and it does vary, I think, pretty heavily.
We never made any decisions on if this was tight end premium. So
it is not.
I don't
simple route.
Yeah, we're just gonna say it's not, because I feel like if we would saying that it's tight end premium now at this point, I feel like would just be counterproductive, because Kyle Pitts would have already been gone. Andrews might have already been gone as well too. Yeah. So we're just gonna say this is non-tight end premium.
I am shocked to see it this, not running back heavy, but this split of running back versus wide receiver. That surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily mind it, considering that I'm going to get a wide receiver that I really, really like here at the 3.05. I am surprised though too. Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, Christian McCaffrey. However, if you are doing a startup now, or throughout March and stuff like that, and you wanted to take a running back that early, those are definitely the guys that you should be taking, because a lot of times when we say don't buy running backs now at this point, a lot can happen over the next couple of months. That usually is only going to impact the guys maybe RB 7 and down, 8 and down. You know, these guys at the top, Jonathan Taylor, ETN, McCaffrey, Walker, Breece Hall, these guys all have no worries whatsoever about another player coming in and taking out their starting position. So they at least have, I think, extra solidified value because of that fact. So now I'm up again, and Drake London unfortunately went.
I didn't think he'd slip past you, but I am so far in on the Drake London train. There's gonna be an obnoxious amount of Drake London content coming from me the next like 6 months. I can't wait.
I don't mind it. I love it's gonna be. Is he like Michael Pittman 2.0 for you? How it was last year?
Yeah, but better outcome.
I would hope a better outcome.
It's got to be. It has to be because it's coming from a rookie season, and he's not hopefully dealing with quite literally the ghost of freaking Matt Ryan, who just hit a brick wall. The thing is, the usage is still there for Pittman. I still think he's a very good wide receiver. I don't know if he's a wide receiver 1, but I think he'll be a firm wide receiver 2 for hopefully the rest of his career if they find someone with any type of consistency to throw him the ball.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially with Steichen there. I think that'll definitely boost up that offense. I feel really, really good about the Colts offense moving forward with him in charge. So
yep. Oh, same. And that's where he has a down season, right? Relative to expectation. But you look at like the underlying metrics, the target share, target rate, success rate against man, all of these like pro reception perception type metrics. And it proves out that he is good. And if you guys watch us often enough, the prototype wide receivers that I typically chase are good route runners, high volume, maybe some touchdown upside, right? In that 6 to 8 range. Those are the guys I often go after because I'm just chasing volume over and over. And Pittman falls into that category for me.
Let me get back here to a comment real quick. It's kind of applicable to where you are in the draft. What would you add on top of the 111 in a startup to go up to the 107, 109 range? Maybe try to solidify getting one of those quarterbacks in that range, or potentially moving up if you really wanted to go get Jefferson or Chase.
That's where, I'll give them a swap of like, I'll drop back from like the 4th to the 5th, or, if you're around that, because you're around that same turn. So you can think that way, or I like giving up early, like 20, 24 seconds. I'll throw seconds at people all day long if that's what it takes me to move up. It's tough. Probably a pick swap. 4th, 5th might be actually too early. Probably go around later. Go from the 7th round up to the 6th. Give them that pick swap and see if they bite. Because it's not a huge jump in terms of just like the picks themselves. While value may be bigger, and they may not recognize that.
I was going to say the value, if you're going from CeeDee Lamb to Lamar Jackson, or if Trevor Lawrence falls, or you want Justin Fields, that is a difference. Like you're going to have to definitely have a really, really good pick swap. You probably won't get it done with a future second. Future first is probably too much to give at that point.
Yep.
So it is going to have to be some sort of weird, like I give you 111 and my 5th for your 107 and your 6th, or it's going to have to be some sort of weird pick swap like that. But I feel like that's probably where I would start and see where you end up going. I think me personally, I would probably rather just trade back though. Would you rather, if you were at 111, trade back to the 2.03, 2.04, where that lot of those quarterbacks are?
I'm not a trade up guy. I'm really not. Like I don't often say, all right, tier break, let me go give up assets. My whole strategy in startups is I want to build depth and assets and give myself as many shots as humanly possible to build, call it a super team. So I'm just not a trade up guy, especially to move, 2-3 picks up. That's usually not my strategy. And here, the quarterback is coming back to bite me, but I'm going to grab 1. Tua is going to play again. I am fine taking Tua here. If you remember when we did this in January, Tua was in the middle of the 2nd round. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Quite literally, nothing has changed. So I'll take the round discount on Tua and assume his brain hasn't turned to mush yet and he'll play. Like that's the route I have to go here.
No, I definitely think I personally the fact that you were able to get Tua there, I think is phenomenal for your roster build. That is fantastic. And I think you honestly kind of lucked out because I think he was the last one. You could, depending on if you're a Trey Lance guy or not, I don't think either one of us are. But
I like Lance,
after Tua,
I like Lance not at the
Cousins, Russ, Levis or Richardson. The quarterback drop off is really, really quick. That you could have, if Tua had gone just 2 picks earlier, man, you would be screwed.
If Tua had gone 2 picks earlier, I'm double tapping wide receiver, and I'm gonna hitch my wagon to like Derek Carr and Russell Wilson. Like that's where the strategy pivots. Tua for me, Lance can stay in that tier, but he brings a ton of risk. Like there is so much risk with taking Trey Lance that as my first quarterback off the board, I'm not ever going to make that pick.
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Wide receiver 12, too early for JSN?
Yes.
When you consider the fact that Higgins and DK Metcalf are there.
Devonta Smith. I mean, like there's...
Devonta Smith is still out there right now.
Devontae Adams. Michael Pittman, who's probably... JSN's probably...
I think that's where you start getting into it.
Yeah, like, that's where like you can debate that. I'm going to take JSN over Pittman. Because I think he just hopefully carries a little more talent, little better situation to probably heard the truck on the street outside my apartment. Yeah, it's just that I think that's where he belongs, not up in the middle of the third.
Yep. I totally agree with you there too. What do you guys think about Devonta Smith plus Dak for 1.03 and Gibson and a 24 second in a 1 quarterback league?
1 quarterback. Gibson feels like a throw-in, so it's kind of in my mind. Like I know he's not, but that's how I'm viewing it. Smith, Dak for one of. I think give me Smith and Dak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me Smith.
That's exactly where I land on that one. Yeah, because it's kind of the same. This goes along with where we were just talking about with JSN, where at 1.03, I feel like more than likely you're taking JSN there in a 1 quarterback league, assuming that it goes Bijan, then Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN. And we both just said we take Devonta Smith over JSN, so Smith over the 103. And then I'll just take the top 10 quarterback, for Gibson in a second. I'll just take the back end wide receiver 1, the QB 1, just call it a day there.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know what I'm starting to realize? Drake London's going to be my Devonta Smith. Give me one where I come out positive. Give me one where I'm like, I come out looking slightly better. I think that'll be my route. Pitts, Kelsey, Mandrews, Hawkinson, Hawk over Kittle. Yeah. Has he moved there officially? I think he has.
I think if you want to argue the age factor, you definitely can. And if you trust Hawkinson to stay healthier throughout the entire season, I think those are 2 factors definitely in Hawk's favor. I think that if you wanted to argue in favor of Kittle, we've obviously seen Kittle do it for longer than we have for Hawkinson. Hawkinson was really just, it was a fantastic half of the season, but it was still just half of the season versus, Kittle, we've seen him been doing this since 2018, 2019. When he is healthy, he has the ability to just do 8 for 150 and 2, just like that, and it's gone. But I think Hawkinson is working his way up.
He is. He's created a new tier as far as I'm concerned, of like where it was kind of like a dead zone of tight end for a minute. The thing with Hawkinson to just stay aware of, Kirk Cousins is a free agent after this year. He is not re-signed. Mm-hmm. They do not have a backup plan in place. The bottom could fall out legitimately. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's talk about this.
I don't know what I did there. I clicked a button and I don't know if I like it.
Let's talk about it right now. Why?
All right. Let me break down what went through my head really fast in 25 seconds. Don't like any of the tight ends right now. I like some of the value a little bit later on some of these guys. I don't want to take a running back because, it's Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, still a little bit older. I don't know where Josh Jacobs is going to play. I'm hoping it's Vegas, at least for his value. But I don't really want to take the shot on the running back there. I still think it's a little bit early. Swift, Javonte, blah, 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 Wide receiver, I was looking at it, and I was really, really tempted to take Devontae Adams. In fact, if I was given a little bit more time to think about this, I might have ended up pulling the trigger on Devontae. But that really locks me into, I feel like, a contender kind of build, which I don't necessarily really want to go for in a startup draft. I want to have the flexibility of being able to see if my team can be productive in year one, but if it's not, then the way that I'm building it, it should be young enough that I can take it into year two, continue building out with rookies in 2024, year three, all that kind of stuff. That's what I really, really want. I mean, I definitely could have probably sold Devontae in season if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Which again leads me to, I feel like if I had a little bit more time to think about it, I probably would have pulled the trigger on Devontae. But the next best player, I think, in my mind was Trey Lance, just for the pure upside factor that if Trey Lance hits, then I have probably my QB2 with Justin Herbert while I'm waiting for Bryce Young to get ready and do his kind of thing. If he also hits, then I think that he is going to rise in value a lot, to which then I have the potential, I think, to also flip him as well. So I feel like Lance gave me a lot of flexibility as long as he doesn't completely tank and like isn't not the starter by like the end of September, then I think I'm really going to like what I have in Trey Lance as my QB3, but as a flyer for seeing what I could get in value in a few months or by this time next year.
I like that we got to watch you talk yourself into it. That was fun.
I did.
Yeah. But I mean,
a little bit more.
This is where I think it goes to in a startup. You're not drafting to fill out your starting lineup. That doesn't matter. Draft for value. And you're not setting a lineup as soon as this draft ends. Like, it doesn't matter. We're in February. We have 7 months until a lineup matters. Take your value, right? I mean, if you have no quarterbacks, maybe grab one or two, but typically you're going to take the best player available, especially since we can't trade and move around the board. I think you're in a spot where people would have offered to come up and trade for that pick, right? Like when they're looking who's available, because immediately going after Daniel Jones, Will Levis, no, thank you. Like, not at that point in the draft. I think it's a large tier.
So do you agree here with Griffin? Levis stinks?
I don't think
what a reach.
I don't think he stinks. I do think it's a reach. We know nothing about evaluating quarterback. You know how I know that? The NFL knows nothing about evaluating quarterbacks. So I can promise you, me, Addison, don't know jack about like truly identifying superstar quarterbacks. Follow what the NFL tells you. They're probably going to be more right about this than the average fan, right? We can all point to our hits and misses, but the NFL drafts him highly. He's going to rise in dynasty value. It's going to happen. And that's what we're trying to play, right? Value rather than player evaluation every single time. What are you doing here? Another quarterback? Kenny Pickett?
No. Dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kenny Pickett. Definitely the way to go here. I really don't like the wide receivers out there right now. So I think I'm just going to take George Kittle. It's essentially a round of discount between him and Hawk, and we were debating between the two.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of wide receivers. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Judy. I love Chris Godwin. I saw Hollywood Brown is sitting down in here. I could take Jordan Addison as my rookie wide receiver too. There's a bunch of wide receivers here that I like. I just don't know if there's a lot of separation between all of them to where I'm basically drafting at the top of one huge, massive tier. I'd rather see how the rest of this board plays out, as we wrap through the end of the 5th through the 6th. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to get somebody that I really, really like still with my 6th round pick. So I wasn't going to take another quarterback. I don't really want any, like Russ, I guess, would have been the guy. But I'll just take George Kittle and run with it.
Take the 4th quarterback. No, I agree. Hey, this is a weird tier.
That guy.
Cousins went. That's a slap in the face. Okay, yeah, I'm in the same spot where I'm looking at that same exact wide receiver tier, and there's like 3 or 4 guys that I really like. I hope.
Now, see if I have my pick in my head for what you should take. So I'm interested to see if we align on that.
Yeah, I unfortunately think I don't know if we're on the same page, but we might be. And this is where I think it comes to playing the draft board a little bit. Drafting based on, I think, the teams around you is a good way if you have a tiebreaker in your head. But we'll see. I'm interested to see these next 2 picks coming into mine. So are you Traylon Burke? Are you this high on Burks? I don't know what wide receiver pick this is, but over Chris Godwin.
That's one thing.
JMO, DJ Moore.
I wish Sleeper added the little like what they were in their position in here. Sleeper, if you're watching. No, I don't want to count.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, Burks is a little high here for me. I would definitely take Godwin over him. I'd take Hollywood over him as well, and Jordan Addison. I'd be tempted to take guys like Kayshon Boutte and Christian Kirk. So it's not terrible. DJ Moore, I think, is in there. I think I'd rather still just have DJ Moore than Traylon Burks.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
Yeah, it's that was a preference pick. Where are you going here? You got 40 seconds.
So I'm looking between wide receiver. I'm looking at quarterbacks. I don't like it.
So, I know you said this. Are you thinking that the 112 he doesn't have a quarterback yet? So if you have a guy, this is kind of what there it is. That was my pick for you. Good job, buddy.
To me, it makes sense. Am I around? Would I prefer to be at like the back of the 6th making that pick? Absolutely. But looking at the guy at the end with 0 quarterbacks, and I have 3 wide receivers I like here. So maybe he makes my decision for me, but I at least go out and I maintain the quarterback position, right? Because I think he's probably going to grab Kenny Pickett. If he's watching, you might want to take Kenny Pickett. Yeah, Jared Goff even, right? So future Kenny Pickett, that's fine. Like it's the same. It's all the same. The quarterback was going to go there. So I like grabbing the guy, to me, that makes, I think, a separation of tiers there. I'm interested to see where he goes here.
Yeah, he had to take Goff.
Future Kenny Pickett. Yeah. Jordan Addison, I think that's good value. There's guys I like over Jordan Addison, but I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
No, yeah, I think that's fantastic value for sure. All right. Yeah, we got some questions in the chat, so let's see what you go with, and then
give me DJ Moore. Give me my guy. I will die before I give up on DJ Moore. So I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing. I don't care.
Who can you trade Dak for in a 1 quarterback league? And then he followed up, could you trade Dak for a 24 first in a shallow 1 QB league?
In a shallow, no. I'd be shocked. If you can get it, great. But
yeah,
there's 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks I'm giving up. No, I'm probably a little bit larger than that, but he's not on that list. Put it that way.
Dak is probably going to be a early to mid second. If you're able to trade him for, I think, a solid wide receiver 2-ish. And when I say solid wide receiver 2, I mean more like wide receiver 25.
Right, that.
I feel like we're in this right. Like Brandon Ayuk was the first name that came to my mind.
Oh, I'd give me Ayuk over Dak. Would you trade for Terry McLaurin? I think so
too, but that's
Christian Kirk?
Probably not. I'd probably just stick with. I would take Christian Kirk over Dak.
Deontay Johnson.
I'd take Dak over Deontay.
I think so would I, and that's coming from me, which is saying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about right. I think early to mid second is probably as good as you're gonna get.
Could you trade him if you're competing? Could you get Calvin Ridley? Calvin Ridley in the late a 25 second.
I'd want a future pick attached to it, but yeah, I don't think that's crazy.
If you have James, if you have ideas in there, what you kind of looking for, we can bounce it off. Oh, I'm up. Oh, pick it. Thank God. Man, it's so tempting. Boy. I kind of am upset because there's not a lot of wide receivers left that I like.
I'll say that whole tier got eviscerated.
I know, it really did. And I'm kind of mad now because, hindsight here, I would take Dallas Goedert here and take a wide receiver that I liked over Kittle. So there's some hindsight.
Just a
Let's
little.
see. I'm not there at running back yet. We're almost there.
You
I will
wait
take Christian
forever. There goes Swift.
DeAndre Swift went next. That was quick, Gavin. That was real quick.
Did you see the report on DeAndre Swift today?
Yeah, that he's gonna get carry on.
That was my tweet, which is I made myself sad. But no, I read after I clicked on the headline, that was like, he might not have a future. And it was just some beat reporter being like, I don't know, guys. I'm not sure. So a nothing report. It was literally a beat reporter.
Sounds like a typical June, July report in February.
Yeah. He's like, there's trouble based on me. Like, I'm like, it's not helpful
Gut
at
feeling,
all.
fellas.
I'll be honest, it got me. I put him on the block in a league, and then I read the report. I was like, what am I doing? So click the article, and it's a nothing report every time.
Trent's down here in the comments. He's asking, what would it take for people to move Josh Allen? I'm looking at an offer of 105 and what he's projecting as early 24 first for him. I'm taking Josh Allen.
I probably want Josh Allen, but if your team is trash, like if it is a bad roster and you're not competing this year, maybe not next, that's what you want to give him up for. Is you want to break it out into as many assets as possible. I think that's the only way you trade him.
What's stopping me is that a lot can happen between now and then that those firsts aren't early. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, a ton.
Like players overproduce, players on good teams get injured. More trades happen between now and then that makes those teams better. They hit on that one rookie. You know, it's hard for me to look at this trade and say, I feel really good about it because those two picks are both going to be top 4 or top 5. And then one of them ends up being 8, one of them ends up being 4. And you're just kind of like, man, I'd rather have Josh Allen. And that's where I'm at with Josh Allen. I don't like sending away my super studs for only picks.
I agree with that. A good move. So if you do pull the trigger on this, a good move to make, and I do this in leagues all the time, is, if you trade for the perceived early pick, right? Everybody in the league thinks that's a top 4 pick. Go trade that first for what might be a projected mid to late first and additional assets. Because like Addison said, we don't know anything in February. People will change their path, right? They get bored and they go, I'm going to go win now. Like, things shift. So I love taking perceived early firsts, flipping them for late firsts and extra assets. Like, that is, to me, a good way to come out on top because there's so much we don't actually know right now.
Or if you can replace one of those first year, maybe even the 105 for a, does he have like a Kyler Murray or, a Tua and replace them and just, now it's Tua and 2 firsts or Kyler and 2 firsts.
Oh, that'd be good.
I'd be much more comfortable doing that. That'd be so fantastic.
I mean, because think about it here. What's technically the 105? Are we saying that's JSN, so third rounder? So yeah, if you can bump that up to Kyler or Dak or you know what I mean, like those guys up a round above, you get an extra value and you're getting guaranteed production. Yep. I have not looked at the board at all.
Hey, I got Nick Chubb in the 7th round, so I'm pretty happy.
You did get Nick Chubb. Look at that. Good pick. I do not like the board here.
Just to address this, Zeb, I'm sorry. StreamYard does not allow us to move this over here. I have no idea why. It's actually really infuriating because I feel like if you're just coding this, there should be some sort of like a line equals left or a line equals right.
Us. There's no way it's hard.
I literally I'm trying I can't move. It's actually really annoying. So I feel you. I'm sorry.
All right. So I think he's fallen too far. So I'm going to have to do it. I will take Pickens here. Wide receiver as my wide receiver 4 in the late 7th over like Hopkins, Amari, Keenan, Mike Evans. And with my team, I'm fine grabbing Pickens there over guys that are like so if you want to look at the actual board, the top 5 names: Hopkins, Cooper, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Mike Williams. I prefer Pickens over every single one of them. It just feels like such
Yeah.
a weird spot.
Ah, dang it. I was hoping Dobbins would fall back.
He
Then I
wasn't
could
going to
take my
get past. He wasn't going to get past my pick
you.
here. I almost took him with Pickens. I was looking at it, and I took Pickens like an idiot. Damn it! I wish I had Dobbins. That's immediate regret within seconds. So I'm looking here. Like, there's another name that I think would be very fun to draft. So I'm gonna give me Josh Downs, dude. Every time I watch Josh Downs, I am just getting
you
more
see
and more
Antonio
excited.
Brown. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree.
I'm not giving him the AB comp for a lot of reasons, but he's going to be good. He's just going to be a very, very solid pro, right? Does he ever get to, top 10? I don't think so. But like a locked in wide receiver too, I feel like is his most likely range of outcomes.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Love it. Got a couple more. There's some really interesting comments going around with how people are reading this draft board. First thing I want to go to though from the comments, Russell asks, what would you do with the 1.02 in Superflex if you don't need a quarterback? He's also solid on wide receiver. Would you take Jahmyr Gibbs or would you trade back?
Trade back. Or I'd take the quarterback and trade the quarterback later. Like value.
Or trade out completely. I think you have a lot of options for sure.
Yeah. I think the only option
there's
is
really
no Gibbs. Like, just don't take Gibbs there.
That's basically it. If you're making the pick, it has to be the quarterback because that's the value. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe 101 takes Bijan. Maybe this could be an interesting situation where somebody who's at the 1.02 who doesn't need a quarterback is able to trade up to the 1.01 so that the 1.01 who actually does need a quarterback feels good about taking the quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I've gotten that question.
Maybe you could go and see what you can get to 101.
I've gotten that question where it's like, I have the 101 and I need a quarterback. What do I do?
What do I do?
Try like hell to trade. Because like if you dude, taking Bryce Young and letting Bijan fall to 102 into somebody's lap should be illegal. Like it just shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going.
So,
I think I know where you're going.
I don't know where I'm going. So can you tell me where I'm going?
I don't want to because I also want this player. So I need to just keep my mouth shut.
I think if I'm thinking of who you're thinking of, he's going to slip to me here in the 9th round and I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, he's gonna. I already know. We're on the same page. All right, we'll find out in a second, guys. This is just real
crap. You know what? I took Nick Chubb, so we're just gonna keep going. This is kind of contendy.
It really is. Well, you need another wide receiver. You really did. It's like this is very unlike you for a build.
It really is. And this is where the George Kittle regret continues to play out because still on the board is Dalton Schultz. So
it's tough.
I feel like the answer was not George Kittle. That would be where if I could go back and not make a pick, that would be where it is.
Are you surprised that Michael Mayer has a higher ADP than Dalton Schultz?
Yes and no. I think a lot of that has to do with Schultz being a free agent. So we're not necessarily sure if he's going to land in a better situation or not. I don't really know if there is a better situation because he's not all that great of an athlete. It's kind of like a Zach Ertz situation where he was kind of more just a product of volume than he was getting the volume because of athleticism. It just seemed like he was just the guy that was there filling that role and Dak liked to throw to him. So if he goes to somewhere else that doesn't need a tight end like that, it could be really quick for him to be Mike Gesicki, or he just stays in Dallas and is still Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, that's fair. Michael Mayer, just the more I dig in, like he's a really good blocker, and I kind of hate that. Like I don't like my tight ends to be able to block. I don't want them blocking because you can't score. Like the idea of, well, he's on the field.
They're on the field though. Yeah.
But if you're not running routes, I don't care when you're on the field. Like if you're blocking on routes because you're a good blocker, well, that's a 0. So like it's a double-edged sword. It's what happened with TJ Hawkinson. Like Hawkinson's a good blocker, and we haven't seen him fully blossom into the guy we all thought he could be. And then on the flip side, though, you have Noah Fant, who can't block for crap and still hasn't turned into anything. So who the hell knows? Like it's all terrible. That's what I'm getting away from this. Mac Jones is still just floating out there. Good. That seems about right. Like that's
good. All right. Question for you from Jacob. Who finishes higher in 2023, Christian Kirk or Deontay Johnson? My answer is so simple for this one.
Yeah, but this is coming right after me. Like this is a question for me. Probably Christian Kirk.
That's my answer as well, because I want the one that's not catching passes from Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, that's usually the safer bet. Like, give me the guy that's catching passes from Trevor Lawrence. I think Deontay out targets him, but Lawrence is it's just going to be a better offense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's Christian Kirk. And I think you're better off taking Kirk than Deontay too in Dynasty because he's a little bit younger. There's no stigma around.
Is Christian Kirk younger?
They might be the same age. 26, 25 maybe, or both 26.
I think they're both 26. I'm trying to find where the hell Deontay is.
They're around in there. It feels like Christian Kirk is younger.
He's been playing for longer, I think. He came in first.
Where is he?
Do it. Do what you're going to do. Yeah. I knew it. As soon as I took Josh Downs, I was like, I got lost in the board, and I wasn't even looking at running backs. Damn it. I love that pick.
No, I love it.
I love
it.
Are you surprised to see Joe Mixon all the way at 8'11", where the script is completely flipped on Joe Mixon? He is Joe Mixon a buy at that price?
If
you give him
maybe
if you give him Jalen Hyatt for Joe Mixon, are you doing that?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper.
No, I'd take Amari.
Jimmy G. In Superflex.
Mixon.
Joe Mixon might be a buy.
Wait a second. Are we finding out that Joe Mixon's a buy?
That's
where I know that he's a buy is when there's only 2 picks separating between him and Dameon Pierce, and the pick in between them is Jalen Hyatt. That's how I know that Joe Mixon is a buy.
That's the marker right then and there. That's crazy to me. I mean, I get Alvin Kamara. I understand him being here. Dalvin Cook. I mean, it feels like he's like a 1-year asset at this point. Like the floor is going to fall out on Dalvin Cook. It's started to fall out already. Man.
Are you crazy. And with that being said, Justin takes him here at the
no, I'm gonna with the way my team is set up, I ain't winning a damn thing this year. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to Oh no.
That was it. Was that your pick?
That was 100% it. Oh no. Oh, that's immediate panic. Vamp, I gotta figure out what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Dude, the wide receivers are gross. It doesn't make any sense to take him. All right. I'm gonna
Downs over Flowers, yes, absolutely.
Yes. I'm gonna just delay my problem for 2 picks. Give me Dalton Schultz. I like Schultz, man. I still like him a lot. Yeah. I don't have a tight end. I need a tight end.
You would take him over Mayer, though? I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I think I would. I know what I'm getting in Dalton Schultz. Michael Mayer should be good. He should be very good. But Schultz is going to come in and I think just maintain value where Mayer, there's still question marks. It's so hard to scout rookie tight ends where if I got to get production, I like Schultz way more.
Last pick here. You're going Isaiah Pacheco. I know it.
I'd rather die. I'm good. Man, dude, there are running backs I like here still. I'm rising on Mr. Bigsby. I am rising on Tank Bigsby. The more I look at Tank Bigsby, the more I think the lack in production was just Auburn in general. Like he played with Bo Nix. Bo Nix, I don't care what Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. Auburn as a whole has just been downright not not dominant, and their offensive line has graded unbelievably poorly the last couple of years, and Bigsby just keeps, I think, at like 70% of yards after contact or something ridiculous. Like the man he has no space to run. I am rising on Tank Bigsby, and then the little flash of receiving work this year, I think that's cherry on top.
Interesting. I think that you got good value on him there because, I mean, he is the RB6, I think, in this because we had Bijan and Gibbs. Charbonnet went 3. I got Tucker. Kendra Miller's right there, and then Tank Bigsby, RB6. So the only one that you really passed up on was A-Chain.
Right, so. And A-Chain I also like. I think he's also going to be solid. I'm worried. I have size concerns there.
I'm really leaning into this
I love
year one build, I guess.
There's no bigger James Conner fan than me. I'm 100% sure of that.
I doubt it. Have you met me?
So, I mean, like, Keenan Allen's floating out there. Kamara, I get with everything going on there. Miles Sanders, James Cook. It's interesting. Like, that Tyler Algier, David Montgomery. Like, there are guys left that have that. This is where, like, if I could trade up, I'd be trading up to snatch some of these running backs I think have value. Like, because wide receiver is getting thin. It's getting really thin.
Yeah. Yeah, it is for sure. I can already see, where some of the hot spots are and stuff for a lot of these positions. Obviously quarterback is early and often. Wide receiver, after you get past like the wide receiver ones, it seems like the hot spot is, kind of right in this range. It starts, I think, with Devonta Smith and kind of all the way down until like Brandon Ayuk, with it being really hot right in here in the 5th, 6th range.
Yeah.
End of the 5th, start of the 6th. Running backs, I think, get really hot all through like the 5th, 6th, and 7th as well, too. They're kind of interspersed as people are starting to take tight ends, filling out their quarterback 3s. Some of them are their quarterback 2s. Wide receivers are still going in there. But I like a lot of the running backs that are taking in this 5, 6, 7, 8th, even 9th round range.
I agree. I mean, this board, so I did a startup in January. This board is entirely different than the startup I did in January. Values have shifted so much. And I think right now we're in a lull period. Like there's no news out there that can really change values. And it's not going to happen until we get combine and free agency. That is the next big shift. And then the draft. And then it's just chaos for, 8 months. And then who the hell knows?
Right.
But like the next couple of weeks is call it the dead period of Dynasty. It really is. I guess the combine's next week. Holy crap.
Yeah, the combine's next week. The combine's not going to shift a whole lot. That'll really just change a little bit of the rookies, maybe just kind of some of their ordering.
I think the combine though, it may not shift in like it shouldn't shift actual player value, but it will because you get people reinvigorated back into Dynasty, and new blood means new ideas, which means new player value. Like I think that will be a piece, and you'll get storylines out of the combine from teams talking and everything else.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So we got some. I want to talk through some of this stuff from the comments. I think it's really, really interesting. First, I feel like this is a good trade question. Is it worth paying the 103 and Jameson Williams for Bijan Robinson in a 1-quarterback league?
So JSN and JMO for Bijan.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
I would 100% do that for sure.
Yeah, I like that deal a lot actually for the Bijan side.
Yep, I would take Bijan there. This is the one that I was really good.
I think it's a decent haul, honestly, for the 101. If you're really going to do it and you need to like rebuild, you're going to get 2 damn good assets too. So I prefer Bijan, but I can maybe throw a second on to the other side, and I think you're fine.
Oh yeah, like when you have the 101, you're like, I have the 101 because I really deserve the 101, but I don't want to add the running back to my team yet. I do agree that I think this is a good way to continue building for the future, so that when you get to the point to add a running back, you can do that in 2024, 2025 with some really, really good running backs coming over the next couple of years too. This one though, Charbonnet had 7 less receptions than Gibbs. Is the gap between them that big? Referring to Gibbs being taken here at the 3.09 and Charbonnet being taken basically 3.5 rounds later at 7.02 as the RB2 and the RB3, rookie RB2 and RB3. So I know you and I had a little bit of conversation offline about how we're starting to feel about Charbonnet now. Do we want to share that?
We can share it, sure. We're both rising on Chardonnay. We've done homework. Let's put it that way. I'm still taking Gibbs well ahead of Charbonnet. I think Gibbs to me just is more explosive. I think he's just a better player. Charbonnet is like your traditional lead back. I think Gibbs is kind of that new wave. I think he's a better player. I don't really know how else to put it into words. Can you do that? Because I can't.
I mean, if you're looking at like their ultimate ceilings, like at least if you take the dynasty portion of it out, you would prefer Austin Eckler over Josh Jacobs for fantasy football, right? And I feel like that's kind of how we're leaning. You would have taken, a couple years ago, Alvin Kamara over Josh Jacobs as well too. I mean, we were taking Alvin Kamara over Derrick Henry a few years ago. So that's kind of what. In a PPR league, I think it's so hard to move away from the upside that Jahmyr Gibbs has of being a 70, 80, 90 plus reception kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like Charbonnet could be Dalvin Cook, where Cook is getting 260 carries plus another 50 receptions. And that would be fantastic. I think that's definitely well within the range of outcomes for him. But it just seems like Charbonnet is, I don't want to say that he's not as good of an athlete, even though I think that is true. It's just I think there's so much more dynamics from Jahmyr Gibbs that it's just like his ceiling, I think, is a lot higher. But I do think it's interesting that, is it 3 rounds higher? I do think that is an interesting question.
I think Gibbs may have gone a little early. Put it that way. Not that Charbonnet went too late. I think Gibbs may have gone a little early.
I mean, yeah, he went basically not full round, like 6 picks ahead of Saquon Barkley. Whenever Najee and Eckler and Josh Jacobs, I feel like consensus-wise, I feel like it might be hard to put him above some of those guys.
I think that's the issue. It's not Charbonnet's value. It's where Gibbs went is probably the not issue, but I think the disconnect.
Owen's at the 1.03 right now as his only pick in the first 2 rounds. His team is somewhat stacked for players, except running back talent. Only has Kenneth Walker. Should he move back and stack up picks for 2023 running backs? I'm assuming this is Superflex.
Yeah, we'll assume Superflex unless you want to tell us it's not. At the 103.
I'd move. If you get good value for moving back. Like I would take.
I'm fine. I'm fine moving back there. Again, you don't have to set a lineup right now. So keep that in mind. Like you don't have to panic and say, I don't have my running back 2 in February. That shouldn't be top of mind, your major concern. So if you think someone desperately needs a quarterback, make the pick and then deal with the trade later if you're not going to get the value you want right now.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. I mean, if you can move back, 4 or 5 picks, maybe pick up a 24 first next year or pick up like the 2.01 or maybe even another first. If somebody has like 109 and 111 and you want to trade back, get both those picks, that's not terrible. You could definitely do that for sure. I think there are a lot of, again, this is kind of where like you have a lot of flexibility, I think, where the only option is just don't take a running back at 1.03 in Superflex,
Yeah,
you can trade back to 104 and just take Gibbs and just, there you go.
You have more
options. That's Superflex.
Yeah, I think he commented it said it is.
He said he thinks he can get 106 and 112 plus the 202. 106 to 112 plus 202. They really want to move up. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you get 106 and 202,
you can grab Tucker, Charbonnet, whoever your RB3 is at 106, and then there should be another running back there at 202.
Yeah, for sure. Where was I at? What's the reasoning for Lockett over Hopkins? Same age, and I feel like Hopkins is more effective. Hopkins is getting traded. Like, I feel like that's a 99% certainty. So I don't know where Hopkins is going to go. Hopkins also, he looked really, really good this year. Didn't look all that good last year. Tyler Lockett has been a top 16 wide receiver for like 5 years in a row now. And so to me, Tyler Lockett is forever undervalued. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a guy that I think falls much more into a Julio Jones level, where if he really does fall off, it hits him a lot harder. Whereas if Lockett falls off, I feel like he because he's already under the radar, he's going to just continue being under the radar. And we're just kind of like, meh, you know what I'm saying? So that's the future value that I see for both of them if they both stop producing. Whereas I think Lockett can still continue producing.
I prefer Hopkins personally, okay. But again, Lockett is perennially undervalued. But again, they went within 2 picks of each other, so I think it's a coin flip as to which you prefer. I think it's just more of a preference. I prefer Hopkins, and I'll take the gradual decline that is clearly upon us.
I'll take the known that he's in Seattle, that Lockett's in Seattle.
Yep.
Yep. And we're done.
More than fair.
Brandon asked chat, well, we can answer it. What's the panic meter on Swift, 1 to 10? Are you hardcore panicking that he gets replaced?
It's in my brain. It's a 6 or 7. It's higher than I want it to be. It's a lot higher than I want it to be. It's a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'm probably at a 5 or a 6 right now. It's not good. And they continue to reinforce the fact that they want a massive committee. So it's like Swift will just never be the guy.
I'm starting to hate Dan Campbell. I'll say it. I'm starting to hate Dan Campbell.
No, you can't hate Dan Campbell.
That's my takeaway. It's not Swift. It's Dan Campbell.
It is what it is.
God.
Just trade Swift for Antonio Gibson and pick up a first, and you're good to go. You have the same exact player and a first-round pick.
Oh, that's such a gut punch. It really is.
Bigsby over James Cook? ? That's what you did there.
I did do that. James Cook, I don't think he gets to the point where he is ever a lead back. I really don't. Like, the Bills don't want to use him that way. The Bills are going to bring in another running back. They're going to bring in competition. You have Josh Allen at the goal line. There's a lot of concern about like the true upside that James Cook can bring to fantasy. And right now, Tank Bigsby very well could run into all those same issues, but we don't know that yet. So for now, I will lean on the rookie until we have a landing spot, and then this could flip. Like, that really could be the deciding factor. If he landed in Buffalo, would you be surprised to replace Devin Singletary?
No. I literally just had that thought pop into my head that we could be talking about future teammates. And
yeah,
I would probably still take Bigsby over James Cook in that instance because they leaned on Singletary more than they did Cook. I feel more confident in the volume that Bigsby would get as the 2-down pounder in that offense.
Yeah. I think James Cook is talented. I don't think we saw it in college. Like, he didn't get the big workload in college either. I don't think he's going to suddenly start getting it in the NFL.
Zach said Gibbs was a panic pick.
I respect that. I fully respect that.
Gotcha. He said he doesn't usually play in non-tight end premium leagues, so he would have just taken a tight end in that instance.
I respect that. He's like, I was terrified.
I took Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I get it. I did that with Trey Lance. I did that with George Kittle. I mean, it's when you're making a pick in 60 seconds, man, it really does. That clock is at you fast.
Making a pick while talking about making a pick is it's hell.
That's what we should do. We should have all 12 people on this call. We'll all tell everybody about what we're doing.
It's a nightmare. All right, what is this?
John asks Kenneth Walker and Treylon Burks, or the 1.02, the 111, and Jameson Williams. He has the picks and Jameson, but he wants Kenneth Walker.
One QB. I want Walker and Burks. Superflex. I want the picks.
I agree with Superflex.
Because I prefer Kenneth Walker.
I agree with that.
Yep, I prefer Walker to Jahmyr Gibbs. Like that's who I assume is one of two, or JSN. Either way, I want Kenneth Walker, and then Burks and Jameson Williams a wash, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
and then
I agree.
Superflex, it's what Bryce Young and 111 could be Josh Downs, Kayshon Boutte, Sean Tucker, whoever. Like there's a bunch of dudes there. Give me that duo over Kenneth Walker.
Yep, I agree. Traded Olave for Watson and a 24 first and one quarterback. That's Christian Watson.
I want Olave.
I want Olave too. But he knows. He knew what he was doing with this one.
He knew exactly what he was getting into with this. Give me Chris Olave.
Now, if that 24 first ends up being like top 5, top 4, different conversation.
Well, the 2024 class is loaded. It's disgusting how loaded it is. But guess what? They're saying the exact same thing this time last year at 2023. So who the hell knows? I think it's going to be. I think the 2024 class is loaded. I'll put it that way. Right now, I'm confident it will be.
Mm-hmm. I really like Olave.
So do I. He's just so much safer. He's so much safer. We can't do this. I can't get sucked in.
So that's the final draft board there. Really interesting. We can kind of lock ourselves into this. We're gonna do another one of these after free agency. We'll see how the values shift after free agency.
Yep.
And I'd imagine that we're probably.
Before we wrap up, guys, if you're watching, you like these live streams, you like the content from Addison and I, check out the YouTube memberships. There's an option on there. Just click join. Underneath the bonus content tier, you're going to get a bunch of additional pre-recorded content. As soon as we have enough members on there, we will be running live streams over there as well. Right now, I think we have 6 videos that are just for our members only. So check that out, guys, underneath the bonus content tier. That's on YouTube, not the website. There. Yeah, that one.
The link in the chat, too.
That's the link.
So appreciate it. We'll do the rookie draft was really, really fun. We're going to be doing that again as well, too. We'll probably do that after the combine. I'll lock ourselves into doing that as well. We got a busy March.
We got at least 2 streams. When does the combine end? Is it Friday?
It's all next week. So
I haven't looked.
We can do one the beginning of March. Rookie mock drafts. That'll be fun.
We'll just rip a bunch of them. And that's what we'll do. I think we'll do here. Let's lock it in right now because that's what matters. 1 QB, a Superflex, and a tight end premium. We'll do one of each.
Whoa!
In the same stream. We're not doing this 6 times next month. I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah,
but we'll do that
for sure. All right. Yes, Caleb Williams will be a first next year on 1 quarterback. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud in our February ADP were both first this year.
I don't think they should be.
Well, it is what it is. Caleb Williams will then be a first.
Spoiler: the next members only video, I'm actually running through our 1 QB ADP and picking out some guys that are overvalued. So if you like that kind of stuff, go again, check out the YouTube membership. That'll be the next video dropping and I'm recording tomorrow, so sometime next week.
Oh, John. First of all, thank you for the subscription. And then in order to get into these drafts, we usually post that we're doing like a draft like early that day. That's essentially what happened this morning. This morning we posted that we were doing a live stream tonight. And then we just tossed the link into the chat 5-10 minutes before we actually go live. So if you're here around that time, then you're able to hop into Sleeper. It's just first come, first serve for all this stuff. For the rookie mocks, last time we did 3. This time we'll probably do 3 as well too, because they just fly by in 15 minutes. So we're able to do 3 at least in a sitting. So it's the same kind of thing. If you're here, you drop the link in, be one of the first 10 people to get in, and you're in to go. Maybe we can solidify a better process for that. But
I like the free for all. I like pure chaos. Just absolute chaos. No structure. It makes me feel better. Order.
Like it feeds my ego to know that so many people want to come in and draft with us so quickly that it's just like
I feel like it's just people that want to prove me wrong. People that just want to prove us wrong, I think, is more so than anything.
Yeah, I'm here for it. If you screenshot that your pick was better than ours, then there it is. Cool.
You got a comment. You got a flash up there. You got to flash a comment
up. Thank you. Watson over Olave. Don't know about that one. Thank you for the $5 though. I appreciate that he continues coming in here with the Christian Watson hype. And but I appreciate that I think on both sides we're very amicable about this whole
We're having fun.
We're on completely different sides. It is very fun. It is very fun. We love having you in here. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you being in here, man. Maybe we'll come around to Christian Watson.
I won't. I might. I don't know.
I will.
It's a long off season. It's a long off season.
He'll finish as the PPR wide receiver 1, and I'll rank him as like wide receiver 16 just to do it.
I don't get one fit. I don't care anymore. I'm done.
All right, guys. We appreciate y'all joining in. Thank you so much. And later, focus. There you go.